stop. Just keep digging. Genesis chapter 13, verses 14 through 17, we find these words. Look around you from where you are, to the north and the south, to the east and the west. All the land you see I will give to you and your offspring forever. I will make your offspring like the dust of the earth, so that if anyone could count the dust, then your offspring could be counted. Go, walk through the length and breadth of the land, for I am giving it to you. In other words, God was letting Abraham know that wherever your feet and faith take you, blessings will follow you. I think I better say that again. He was saying, go anywhere in this land that you please. Go in the confidence that wherever your faith and your feet take you, then know that blessings are sure to follow you. This was the promise made by God unto Abraham, and now it has been transferred unto Abraham's son by the name of Isaac. When we come to Genesis chapter 26, we now see that Isaac is all grown up, he's married, and he's happily living in the land of promise. But even though he's living in the land of promise, he discovers that his promised land is surrounded by problems. Have you ever found yourself living in the midst of your promised land only to discover that your promised land is surrounded by problems? The Bible tells us that there was a famine in the land. We don't know if there was a famine in the land as a result of a natural disaster such as an 8.9 earthquake or a tsunami of 23 feet. But there was a famine in the land. We don't know if it was because it was overpopulated areas that were unable to feed the masses of people, but there was a famine in the land. We don't know if it was because of poor quality of health facilities, but there was a famine in the land. It could have been the lack of aid from other countries, but there was a famine in the land. Perhaps the government had a poor management of its resources, but there was a famine in the land. Or perhaps it was simply God punishing man for his disobedience towards God. It really does not let us know what the cause was behind the famine, but it does let us know that there was a famine in the land. The Bible does not state the cause of the trouble. It just tells us that Isaac was surrounded by trouble. And I think it does that because it wants us to know that when you're in trouble, it's really not important how you got into trouble. What's important is how are you going to get out of the trouble. Look at somebody and say, when I'm in trouble, that's not the time to investigate me. When I'm going through, that's not the time to question me. We've got it messed up in the church. We want to find out what you did to get in trouble, who you did it with to get in trouble, but that's really not the time or the place. All you need to do is pray that God will deliver me from my trouble. I'm talking to somebody here this morning and say, I'm in the land of my promise, but I'm surrounded by problems and trouble, and I'm praying to God that he will deliver me from my trouble. Somebody ought to shout, God, deliver me from my trouble. When you're in trouble, it's important to understand how you're going to get out of the trouble. Isaac was in a famine. Isaac was in trouble. Isaac had problems. There was a famine in the land. So Isaac did what you and I would have done, and that is that Isaac moved from the famine until the place God told him to stop. Did you catch that? It said there was a famine in the land, and so Isaac moved from the famine, and he stopped at the place God told him to stop. Have you ever tried to run from a problem only to have God stop you in your tracks? You ever try to put something behind you only to have God tap you on your shoulder and say, stop right here? I don't have a problem with God stopping Isaac as he was trying to escape from the famine, but I do have a problem where God stopped him. God stopped him in the middle of enemy territory. God stopped stopped him in the midst of Gerar. God stopped him in the midst of a hostile environment. Hold up now. God, if you deliver me from problems, if you deliver me from pressure, if you deliver me from stress, the last place you should stop me is in the midst of a hostile environment. If you're really bringing me out, you're going to jump me off in the middle of enemy territory. And he says, you don't understand it right now, but there's a blessing connected to where I stopped you. Somebody catch that next week. There's a blessing connected to where God has you right now. He stops him in the midst of a hostile environment. And then God reminds Isaac of the promise spoken over his life. He says, Isaac, although you are presently experiencing problems in your life, don't forget the promise I have spoken over your life. God, I have somebody this morning. I'm trying to tell somebody that everywhere you turn, you're facing problems all around you. But in the midst of your problems, God will have you to remember the promise that He's spoken over your life. Is there anybody here this morning says, I'm a living witness that God has spoken a promise over my life? And so He tells you because you have a promise over your life. Don't you get down and out. Don't you get stressed out. Don't you become depressed over the problems that you're facing right now. Because just as sure as I'm God, trust and believe that the problems you have today come tomorrow, they will be gone. That wasn't for everybody. That's just about 2 or 3 people that's dealing with something in your life right now. And God would have you to know that though the vision tarry, wait, it shall surely come to pass. God is going to bring you through. Look at somebody and encourage your neighbor and say, God will bring you through. So He reminds Isaac that there's a promise you have on your life. And so the Bible says that Isaac believed the word that he received. Isaac was confident in the word he received. And Isaac was convinced that he would conceive of the word he received. One more time. Isaac, hearing God speak to him, believed the word he received, was confident in the word he received, and was convinced that he would conceive of the word he received. And so based on that, Isaac does the unthinkable. In the midst of famine, he sowed a seed. Don't y'all miss that. In the midst of famine, he sowed a seed. Despite what he had lost, despite what he was losing, despite what he could lose, the Bible declares that Isaac sowed his seed in time of famine, with nothing to encourage his efforts except the promise made to him by God. He sowed a seed in faith. He had no evidence that God was going to bless him, but he had confidence that God always rewards faithful behavior. And so Isaac says, it's not much, but I'm going to use it so God will get the glory. It's not much, but God, you can have it. It's not much, but God, I'm putting it in your hand. Because I do understand that little becomes much when you place it in the master's hands. Is there anybody here this morning says, a little bit of faith I have, I'm going to place it in God's hand. The little things that are causing me to smile, I'm going to place it in God's hand and watch God grow this happiness. Watch God grow this joy. Watch God grow this faith. Watch God grow this seed. Little becomes much when you place it in the master's hand. And the Bible said that Isaac reaped in that same year 100-fold. Don't you miss it, because he sowed in faith. The Bible said in that same year he reaped 100-fold. You got to remember now where Isaac was. Remember, God stopped him in enemy territory. God stopped him in a hostile environment. In other words, in the midst of his enemies, God began to bless him. In the midst of a hostile territory, God began to bless them. And I come here today to tell somebody that in the midst of your enemies, God's getting ready to bless you. In the midst of a hostile environment, God's getting ready to bless you. In the midst of pains and trials and tribulation, God says, I stopped you right here because I'm getting ready to bless you, to let you know that your blessing is not determined by the conditions of the world, but is determined by your position in my word. That's somebody this morning. Get in God's word. Shake somebody's hand and say, get in God's word. And so God was letting Isaac know that it's not the conditions of the world that determines how favored and how blessed you're going to be, but your position in that word determines how favor is going to rest on your life. And verse 13 suggests that it was a continual flow. Anybody wants a continual flow from God this morning? You just stay in my word. And I'll give you a continual flow of peace. I'll give you a continual flow of prosperity. I'll give you a continual flow of joy. I'll give you a continual flow of happiness. I'll give you a continual flow of wealth and resources. I'll give you a continual flow. If you're sowing faith, God told me to tell somebody you're reaping a harvest of abundance because God says, I'm still in the blessing business. So verse 14 said that Isaac was blessed with flocks of sheep and goats. He was blessed with herds of cattle and servants. In other words, everything Isaac needed from food consumption to transportation to importation, God said, I'm going to provide it and give it to you. And because Isaac began to walk in the favor of God, and because Isaac began to live according to the favor of God, the text tells us that his enemies became jealous of him. Can I pause here and tell somebody, please be careful of the prayer you pray. Because if you pray that God will bless you with abundance, if you pray that prosperity will come your way, then you need to also know that along with prosperity comes jealousy. You need to know that everybody will be happy when God begins to move in their life. Everybody's not going to be happy when God begins to open doors for you. Everybody's not going to be happy when you get a promotion on your job. Everybody's not going to smile in your face when you put up in a new car. Everybody's not going to shake your hand when you change zip codes. Everybody's not going to be your friend when God begins to pour out his favor on your life. So the question you really need to ask yourself, how bad do I really want to be blessed? Because can I handle the mess that comes with the blessing? Can you handle the blessing? God wants to bless you, but he says, I'm not going to do it till you're ready. There's some pain that's going to come with this blessing. There's some looks that will come with this blessing. There's some rolling our eyes, turning the teeth, snapping the fingers, snapping the neck. That's going to come with this blessing. So now at the end of the day, how bad do you really want to be blessed? They're going to talk about you. They're going to